if the Lord's name is taken to be in the same dimension as the various worldly names that we know of, then the Lord's name just gets added to the repository of the million names we already have. It turns into something very ordinary, something very useless, rather something rather harmful. Now you're asking how to ensure that the chanting of the Lord's name doesn't turn into another ritual. I've already answered that. A ritual is something that you add to your daily routine, don't you? A ritual is something affirmative. It is something additional. It is something incremental. It is something over and above what you are already doing. Whereas chanting the Lord's name is an act in negation. It is an act in subtraction. It is an exercise in realization, negation, deletion. So, you are having a coffee table discussion with a client. And 1,000 names he is dropping to impress you. And there are names of various things. There are names of currencies, there are names of figures, there are names of progress, there are names of various kinds of temptations and fears. And in this instant, you say, it's the Lord's name that's important. You are out of the spell. You have just managed to beat the trap. Are you getting it? How can it be a ritual? A ritual is something definite, positive, well-defined. Building something can be a ritual. Taking the Lord's name is an exercise in destruction. How can that be a ritual? Because when you build something, you already have a blueprint. When you build something, it comes from an idea. When you build something, you already know in advance what you are going to build, and therefore it can turn into a ritual. The Lord's name is when you cut down, bring down and demolish what you have built. How can it be ritualistic? To perform a ritual, you must know what the ritual is, right? And the ritual says, do this, do this, do this, do this. That's not how the method of remembrance of the name works. It works differently. It says, in your daily routine, whenever any name starts to dominate you, put it away, cut it down. That's how this method works you. This is a non-method. This is something that just keeps your tendency to be impressed and dominated in check. It cannot turn into a ritual. Try turning it into a ritual. What will you do? The Lord's name is like a sword. You cannot just exercise it. You cannot just dance with the sword. You cannot just rip through the air. There has to be something that appears definitive. And on that definitive thing, the sword has to be applied. Do you get this? The sword by itself means nothing. The sword by itself is just an instrument of negation. No is what the sword stands for. No. This is not real, it must be cut down. That's what the sword stands for. That's how this method works. Anything becomes too much on you, wield the sword. Hack that thing down. In this world, everything has a name. Therefore, the method works on everything in the world, because if anything is to dominate you, it would dominate you through a name. You would be able to say, this is dominating me, X is dominating me, Y is dominating me. There's nothing in the world that is not a name. There is nothing in the world that is not a name, and there is nothing in the world that is not hollow. Therefore, no name with all its hollowness should be allowed to overpower you. Had chanting of the Lord's name been another affirmative activity, another definite activity, there was a danger, some probability that it could have turned into a ritual. But it is not an exercise in affirmation at all. It is an exercise in negation of Maya. Therefore, it cannot be a ritual. It is to be exercised only when Maya strikes. Okay, tell me, can using a fire extinguisher be a ritual? It cannot be a ritual, because the fire extinguisher is used only when there is fire. Otherwise, the fire extinguisher just happily sits and hangs on the wall. Does it not? For years, it is possible that the fire extinguisher is not needed to be used. It is used only when there is a need. Therefore, it cannot be a ritual. Are you getting this? Having fire in your kitchen can be a ritual. There is the stove in the kitchen, and routinely there is fire. The flame is needed to cook food. That can be a ritual. But can the fire alarm be a ritual? No, the fire alarm works only when the fire has gone out of hand, it has become problematic, it has started going beyond its limits. The name of the Lord is like the fire extinguisher or the fire alarm. It works only when there is a problem. If there is no problem, it is not needed. But as far as we are concerned, there is always a problem. So the name of the Lord is always needed. Therefore, those who gave this method, they also told you that once you are one with the truth, then the name is no more needed. You are the name. You are one with the one who is being named. Therefore, what will you do with the name now? Go to the Upanishads and they tell you, once you are liberated, please drop us. Please do not read us anymore. Because we are useful only when there is a need. Otherwise, there is no need to take recourse to us. The name of the Lord just hacks down the unnecessary. It does not build or create anything by itself. Therefore, it cannot be a ritual. Eating food can be a ritual. Taking a medicine cannot be a ritual. The name of the Lord is like a medicine. It is needed only as long as there is a disease. If there is a disease, the medicine will work. Otherwise, the medicine is quite unnecessary.